This is the all-new trail-ready 2023 Mazda CX-50 Meridian Edition. Is it any good when the pavement ends? We're going to put it to the test right now on Driving Sports TV. The CX-50 is a crossover designed to appeal to upscale buyers. So you're probably asking, what's up with this Meridian Edition? It updates the 2.5-liter turbo trim with revised headlight treatments. It also gets unique 18-inch alloy wheels wrapped in Falken Wild Peak trail tires. Now these are proper Falken Wild Peaks. They even have the winter rating, meaning that they're actually quite capable in snow. However, they are not ice tires. For that, you need a proper winter tire. As you can see, this is a 225/60R18 fitment, which means we have a good amount of sidewall to work with here. Oh, and you also get a hood sticker, which is actually functional. When driving off into the sunset, it helps reduce glare off the hood. That's a real thing. And unfortunately, that's about it. There's no underbody protection. There's no special drive modes. Prices, you see it here, $41,620 US, including destination. So is a wheel tire sticker package enough to transform this crossover into a proper trail machine? Well, we're going to find out in just a little bit. But first, let's check out some of the features. Under the hood is Mazda's 2.5-liter Skyactiv G turbo engine. This produces a peak 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque when running 93 octane fuel. You can, of course, fuel it up with the cheaper stuff, but your power drops to 227 horses and 310 pound-feet. The only transmission option is a 6-speed automatic. Power goes to all 4 wheels with the iActive all-wheel drive system. Overall, I really like the design of this thing. I think it looks great on the outside. It's very modern. And then with these wide hips, it just gives it a really mean wide stance. Very purposeful. And of course, the plastic here will prevent scratching when hitting the trail. Ground clearance is 8.5 inches, which is a little bit on the low side for an off-road focused trim. Towing capacity is capped at 3,500 pounds. Now let's check out the back. Back here we have a lot of useful space. Under the floor is, of course, a space saver spare. Of course, you're probably wondering if you can camp in this car. It folds mostly flat. Yeah, I can stretch out completely. I'm 6'1", legs torso proportionate. I fit fine. It's great. In the back, it looks pretty nice. You get a couple USB-A sockets and vents. Vents at this price point in the second row are not very common, so I'm glad to see them here. Up front, we have the new Mazda interior design, which is very, it's simple yet sophisticated. We have leather treatment up here with a fancy cross stitch going in the front. We have soft touch plastics up here. The steering wheel is wrapped in leather. Feels really nice. I like how they do these like slimline design wheels. They kind of remind me of Porsche. And I get paddle shifters behind this one. The gauge cluster looks like it's analog, but in fact it's digital. At least the center section is. I can toggle through a bunch of different displays. They don't really let you reconfigure it much, but they do give you deeper data than what you would get if you just had physical gauges by themselves. Over here we have the infotainment system. Don't love Mazda's infotainment. It's really behind the curve compared to the competition. Also, at this price point, and especially considering that this is an off-road model, I want navigation, and they do not include navigation at the base level of the Meridian, which is itself already a fairly loaded trim. Entertainment, AM, FM, Pandora, and yep, don't even have XM radio on this. It is really kind of, you know, you look at it and you're like, oh, it's fancy, it has all this stuff, but then you look a little bit deeper and you're like, where's my XM? Where's my navigation? Where's a configurable gauge cluster? Where's wireless CarPlay? Where is a charging pad for my phone? I just don't feel like you're getting a heck of a lot here. in terms of features. You do get heated seats, which is nice, 3 stages of heat. The seats feel very comfortable. I have lots of adjustments. In terms of safety, this does have all the stuff you would expect at this price point. We have collision mitigation, blind spot warning, adaptive cruise control with gapping. We can set how far of a gap we want. Also has lane detection, and of course, a rear camera. But this rear camera also, it's missing tracking lines. Come on. Also, this is an off-road trim without a surround view camera system. Mazda, what you doing here? I want to like this car a lot, but you're making it hard for me. You're leaving off things that I consider essentials in an off-road trim in 2023. If you have a crossover in today's market that is targeting an off-road buyer, you need to have, of course, underbody protection. You need to have increased ground clearance. You need all-terrain tires, which this does have, which is nice. You need a surround view camera system, or at least a front view camera system. Oh, and we also need advanced off-road modes that go above and beyond what you get in your base trims. Of that whole list, the only thing this really offers are all-terrain tires, and these are trail tires at that, not the full AT3W Wild Peak, which is the more aggressive off-road. Actually, I'm not going to give them too much grief for going with the Wild Peak trails. I have those actually on my Crosstrek Sport. I really like them. They're a good compromise tire. You get very little road noise with them, and they have enhanced capability for off-road, and you're not going to do rock crawling with a vehicle like this. So given what they offer, I think they are a good fit. So we've looked at all of the basic features of this Meridian trim. If you want deeper information about the CX-50, we already have a full review of an upper trim that actually comes with a surround view camera system that we put out last year. So be sure to check that out if you want more information. I will link it in this video. Okay, I think it's enough talking. It's time to hit the trail. Mazda's iActive all-wheel drive system uses a coupler to shift power from the front to the rear wheels. This is primarily a front-wheel drive system that looks for slippage through a number of sensors before it ramps up power to the back. In most cases, the system will send a small amount of torque to the back wheels, which is referred to as standby torque. This helps improve the responsiveness of the system. Because this uses a multi-plate clutch in the middle as a transfer coupler, the most you're ever going to get to those back wheels is 50% of available power. Using a system Mazda calls G-vectoring control, or GVC, the CX-50 will reduce power slightly and minimize rear wheel torque as the vehicle enters a corner, which very slightly shifts weight over the front wheels, improving grip and feedback. It will then push more power to the back wheels to help exit the corner. It's a very smart way to approach vehicle dynamics on pavement without being overly intrusive to the driver. The result is a vehicle that handles really well, but is still trailing more luxury offerings like the Acura RDX and the Lexus NX. Both of those have true multi-link setups in the back. EPA rates economy of the CX-50 Meridian at 23 miles to the gallon in town and 29 on the highway. Outside of the luxury market, this is one of the better handling crossovers you can get on pavement. But how does it do off-road? I mean, this is the Meridian edition. Well, we happen to have an off-road course, and we're about to find out. Of course, we call this Chicken Run because we literally have chickens running around on it. It's right next to the chicken coop. So there's not a lot to do to set up here. I'm going to go ahead and switch the MI drive system to off-road, and that's basically it. This of course uses a 6-speed automatic transmission, so there's really not much it can do in terms of modifying the off-road capability of the transmission. I can't get a lower gear on it because obviously no dual range gearbox. Oop, down we go. So first gear is what I got to drive with, and we're already kind of working it here, but that's okay. It gets through it. Clearly it has some power shifting left to right. You'll see just how much on the outside. So at this point we're going to be lifting that rear passenger tire as we climb up this bank. Come on, power, shift. What we're looking for on the outside is the wheels. We don't want them to spin, because when they spin, they leach power out of the system. This is an oversimplification, but it basically says what's going on. What we're looking for are brakes stopping those wheels from spinning, so that then pushes that power to the wheel with grip, the opposite side. This has, of course, open differentials on the front and the back, and that's just the way they work. Oof, we are grinding on the right. I think we're gonna lift though. Yeah, so we're good. Oh, I want to make sure I'm aligned over here on the left. Yeah, it's pretty good alignment. We need to be straight on that hump, otherwise have a tendency to kind of slide sideways. Come on. Man, really? Oof, so much rubbing. Come on. You're going to shift that power around. This is where I'm looking for the system to shift power from the left to the right or the right to the left, basically from the wheel that's spinning to the wheel with grip. If it can't get us out of this before we're even climbing, it's not going to do very well in a more tricky situation. We're not moving. So slide down there, add a little momentum to get over it. Man, we bottomed out there pretty bad. Even though the Venza says that it has less ground clearance than this vehicle, it feels like it has more because we did not grind with that vehicle. So am I crazy to even try the logging road? Yeah. Will it fail? Probably. Am I going to do it anyway? Of course. Get in without rubbing? Okay, good. Ooh. Rubbing already. I'm not even on the course yet. Yee. Oh, that's a lot of rubbing. You know, as soon as we start hitting things, I think we're going to back out of this one, but we'll give it a try. We'll give it a fair shake. So this particular test is a simulation of a logging road that you'll find in Pacific Northwest. It's using the same materials. These are 4x8 rocks on top of dirt. We've also thrown a few boulders in it just to make it a little bit trickier. Will this vehicle be able to get up? I don't think so. And I think the big problem is going to be that rock right there. Because once we hit that, it's just not going to have enough torque shifting between the front and back wheels left to right to be able to get us up and over the obstacle. Also, because we're on a slant, that means that it's really putting the pressure on those rear wheels to have power and also to shift them left to right. So let's see what it does. Now we do have the advantage of the fact that we actually have Falken Wild Peaks on here, which are a decent trail tire, but they are a trail tire. They're not a hardcore off-roading tire. Okay, can we even get up over the stump here? The roots can be a problem, but we got up. Make sure I don't shift left to right. I'd like to align on that rock, but it's kind of hard when you can't see anything. And these fenders are so wide, I can't actually see my tire at all. That's a problem. And that rock right there, man, it's a tough one, but we got the right position and we should be good. Fingers crossed. So at this point, that driver's side front wheel needs to really pull the vehicle up and over this rock. Oh, it did it. Nice. And I'm really concerned about laying it down. So before we go all the way down, let's check that clearance. I think we'll be okay. Hey chickens, can't you spot me? What good are they? They won't even spot me. Listen for grinding. That's why I'm going so slow. As slow as I can go with this 6-speed automatic. Okay, now that rear driver's side tire is going to be trying to climb up the rock, and this is usually where things fail. Now, because we're on an incline, it might be trying to send more power. Oh my gosh, is it doing it? It got over the rock. What? That is awesome. Okay, now we're just going to keep on going. Keep on going. Okay. Yeah, I take it all back. That actually, oh, we're not out yet. We're going to drag here, I think, a little. Whoop, just a little. It got through it. I am shocked. So that was a very surprising result. I did not expect this to have an issue with Chicken Run, yet managed to get up the logging road. So I really want an answer to this, and I do know a guy over at Mazda, so I'm going to text him. I have some pictures of the course. I'm going to send those to him. So I just exchanged some text messages with an engineer over at Mazda, and he has some theories as to why these humps were harder than that climb. And we're gonna try out his suggestions. Try to line up as close as I can to the previous run. Still probably gonna scrape a bit. Yeah, there it is. There's the scrape. Okay, try to climb up, and then we're in this position. Okay, clearly it's not making progress. That's slight throttle, and we're just spinning wheels, damaging the course. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off TCS, which was his recommendation. He actually had two recommendations. He said either increase throttle, which is always a little sketchy when you don't have underbody protection, or turn off TCS. So I'm gonna try this one first. And I'm just gonna ease on the throttle. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was the issue. It was cutting too much power. Bug, come on, Beetle, get out of here. You're not on camera. So at this point, I would probably want to do a hill descent control system test, but this vehicle does not actually have that feature, which is a little disappointing. So on top of the fact that it doesn't have skid plates, it doesn't have any extra special off-road modes, and it doesn't really have more ground clearance than a standard 2.5 turbo. In fact, it has 0.1 ground clearance less than a standard 2.5 turbo, which is a bit weird. Oof, now we're grinding on things. I'm gonna go up the hill instead, which I don't expect this to really be that hard, but we'll give it a try. So I'm gonna keep this in TCS off. I'm gonna be in off-road mode. A dirt climb like this is actually pretty appropriate for these tires. The Falcon Wild Peak trails are kind of designed for dirt and gravel roads. So this is right in their workspace. So let's see how they do, in addition to the vehicle too. And away we go. Do the hard line straight up the middle. Gonna lose traction on that right wheel. Come on, can we climb it? Can we climb it? Oh, yes. And we are done. That is all the tests I have for here. We do have a double ditch test, but I'm not gonna do it because we just don't have enough ground clearance. Once we go up and we go back down again, it would crunch the nose. So I know that there's no reason to test it. But I think overall this did a really good job. I'm very impressed with this CX-50 Meridian. It is a little weird that you have to do the TCS off in addition to being in off-road mode already to be able to maintain power to the system, because otherwise it will cut power if it detects too much slip. So keep that in mind. And with that feature, I think that this vehicle is actually really great. Good job, Mazda. Obviously, there are some improvements: underbody protection, more ground clearance, more towing too. 3,500 pounds isn't a heck of a lot in this class. But yeah, pretty happy overall. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share our videos. We make them for you, and I hope you enjoy them. Now on to the next adventure.